Hey, can we get Area X?
We have Area X at home.
Oh. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about Saturation Point by Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is the third, I think, novella that I've read from Tchaikovsky and is definitely my least favorite so far. This really did just feel like, you know, like Annihilation Light or Diet Area X in some ways, because we're dealing with something somewhat similar. We have this place called The Zone. It's very dangerous to go there, and you know, there were expeditions in the past, and now they're bringing in a scientist who has connections to somebody who had previously been there, and that's kind of the reason why they're going in, and we're exploring that. Although I feel like the kind of the mysterious elements and the things looking at that were all done much better in Vandermeer's work. This also is played for, again, a bit, it seems to be at least played a little bit for comedy. And I commented in Elder Race that I liked some of the ideas there, but it felt like the humor just wasn't really there, even though in some ways it probably should have been. This also, like, I feel like it's supposed to be funny. Somebody commented on my video about Elder Race, or when I talked about it, said maybe Tchaikovsky is just not funny. I'm starting to lean that way, that maybe humor is just not a strong suit for him, or at least not really in the ones that I've read, because I still liked Elder Race, and this was still fine. But the humor wasn't really totally there, and the drama necessarily wasn't really either. I found the narrative voice to be kind of just like annoying. We're following Dr. Jasmine Marks, who was originally, like 20 years ago, was on an expedition there, and her like kind of mentor figure was the head of that specific expedition, and she's told there's going to be a rescue mission to go get her, and she has to go back into the zone. We're seeing this mysterious place, and thematically we're dealing a ton with like climate change as well as, you know, pandemic type things. It's the world is basically like nobody sees each other anymore. Everything's remote because there's just, you know, one new disease or strain of something one after another. And so, you know, lots of those ideas being around people being weird, and it makes it feel very singular for that kind of time. And I know that was, you know, the years especially where there was all kinds of the stuff and the isolation and things like that were a big thing, and it was a, you know, a cultural moment, but it also, I feel like, is going to make, if that's your whole focus or that's the motif you're going on, no matter what the medium is, I just feel like that's not going to have the lasting impact, because everybody who lived through it's going to remember it. But it's the same thing where, like, you know, you have things that are relying on events that, you know, when you get people who didn't live through them anymore, the next generation is not going to have the same weight. So I already feel like that just makes it, even at this point, feel like it is sort of dated, even though this is a pretty recent novella, all things considered. But then the ideas of with climate change and The Zone specifically is supposed to be super, super hot and like moist, and, you know, people can't live there, and all these things going on. We're looking at kind of the ideas of, you know, the nature of humanity and genetics and that type of thing as well. But again, it just feels like the mysterious place with maybe different organisms where you have to go in and be careful of. It just, I don't know. It really just kept making me think of Area X, but that, I think, did everything a lot better. This is told through, as well, a collection of sessions, which are like recordings that the main character is narrating and talking about what happened. And I think that's fine, I guess, but it's also, it's one of those things where I don't know if that mechanic necessarily worked for me, instead of just telling the story, and it makes you feel a little bit displaced from it, and I think it can sometimes work. I've read other things where it's like an account. It's not my favorite storytelling mechanic, I think, in general, so, you know, take that with a grain of salt. You might enjoy it more, but I just felt like I don't know, I didn't have as much suspense because it felt like it was also trying to go for the humorous part. So like the really serious moments, just I wasn't as engaged as I might have been, and then the moments where we're going for a little bit more like the humor or with some of the dialogue, things like that, just didn't feel as funny to me either. So I didn't get fully engaged with this one, and it did do, I mean, it had some interesting things and ideas being explored. Tchaikovsky seems to be somebody who has a lot of interesting ideas and writes very different types of novellas, because this is super different from either of the ones that I'd read before this, completely different. So I think it's fun to explore and look at different things, different ideas. But when you're an author who's doing that and writing very different types of novellas, exploring different ideas, different mechanics, not all of them are going to land. And ultimately, this one didn't for me. I think if you really loved this, go read Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer, because it's better, in my opinion. So I definitely would recommend that. But I'd be curious because just looking at some reviews after I read this one, it seems like some people really liked it, some people not so much. So maybe it's there. Maybe are others who weren't huge on it either. But I'm still gonna keep absolutely reading Tchaikovsky, both his short works and his full length novels as well, and series. He's got a ton of stuff, so I'm very interested to try. But I've had very mixed results with the novellas so far. But this one definitely slotted in, like I said, at the bottom. So we'll see as I continue on and go through. Really, though, those are my thoughts on Saturation Point by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the links in the description, as always, for the Patreon if you want to support what I do, as well as the Wizard of the Enclave Discord if you want to chat books, whether this book, other books, really anything at all. It's a lot of fun, and we'd love to have you. And, of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.